guys. Welcome to the Movie Champs Show, episode number 26. I am Walker Cheatham, and with me this evening I have...
EJ Flemming.
And Zakary Cheatham.
Yep, and Zakary Cheatham. So this is the first time since we've had this new format set up that we've actually had Zakary on the show. We have him on the show for a reason tonight. It's actually for something that's...
We wish it was for happier reasons.
Yeah, I wish it was for happier reasons, but I mean, I guess this can actually turn into something positive out of a negative, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the reason why we have Zach on the show today is because we are dedicating this episode to two people from our area. They're really good friends with ours, and we want to do something nice for their families. And it was actually for the passing of two young guys. They're both, I believe, 18 years old. 18, 19-year-old boys that tragically passed away this week. Both of them passed away this Monday. One of them, Alex, who was a good friend of mine and Zach's. He actually worked in Zach's haunted house.
Since first year.
Since the first year of Zach's haunted house. So for several years, he worked in Zach's haunted house. He was part of... You want to tell him what all he was part of?
Yeah. Yeah, me and Alex.
Show
yeah, there's a picture. You'll see Alex on the left and Josh Dibuono on the right. Yeah. Yeah, me and Alex, we go way back. I used to be an X-Race, and that's where I first met him. And he was a few years younger than me, but he was a really cool kid, and we just clicked from the start. He was in the first haunted house that I've ever did back in 8, one of those years. And I mean, he was a great kid. He did, like I said before in previous videos, this isn't my first rodeo with YouTube. I had a channel a few years back, and Alex was actually a part of that. And yeah, today was a very rough day for me. It was actually his funeral. I'm really not.
Yeah. Well, Alex and Josh were both actually friends. We weren't as close with Josh. He was part of the BMX family that Zach was a part of, and how he was friends with Alex and everything. So, but the two of them were actually good friends with each other, Alex and Josh. And like I said, Alex, he passed away tragically in Georgia in a motorcycle accident this Monday, and Josh, his was very tragic. He was actually murdered. Just driving his car with some of his friends to North Carolina to go pick up some car parts that he was buying over the internet, and somebody just shot into their car and killed him. Thankfully the other two were okay, but yeah, it's very, very sad. So the reason why we are mentioning this is because we are dedicating this episode to the two of them and their families, and we also have GoFundMe links in the description where you can donate. Josh's GoFundMe is for his funeral expenses. They've already had his funeral, but just to make up for the cost of what that was. And Alex's is actually for the cost to fix up a car that he has been working on for a while. His family wants to finish the car in his memory, and they have the GoFundMe set up for that. So if you guys feel like it, if you want to, you can donate to their GoFundMe pages. Like I said, the link is in our description for this video. And we thank you, Zach, for coming on to this episode and sharing this story. We're gonna go ahead and let you go, bud.
All right, man. Thank you.
No problem, man. All right, so try to segue into the show now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to segue after that. That's it's pretty rough.
Yeah. So, I don't know how do we do that. I don't know.
Anyways, so we're going to be talking about, in this episode, we have some couple news stories. We have two news stories, and
both X-Men related.
Yeah, both of them are X-Men related, and a movie review for a really big movie that came out this week.
Mm-hmm.
Ready Player One. We're going to do our spoiler-free review, and since we're only doing one review, we figure we'll do a spoiler-free review.
Mm-hmm.
Let some of y'all go, that don't want to have this movie spoiled for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go right into a spoiler review.
Mm-hmm.
So, spoiler warning now. Like I said, we'll give you another spoiler warning whenever we actually get into the spoiler part of this episode. So, let's go ahead and jump into this first story. So, first story is Dark Phoenix. Am I right?
X-Men Dark Phoenix. Yeah.
Dark Phoenix and New Mutants have been delayed. As their releases have been delayed. Let's get into the story. So, 20th Century Fox has delayed the release of 2 of its 3 upcoming X-Men movies. While X-Men Dark Phoenix was originally scheduled for this November, it has now been pushed back to next February. New Mutants, meanwhile, is moving all the way from February to August 2019, after it was initially scheduled to arrive this April. So there's been a lot of talk about what may have caused this delay. EJ and I had some thoughts at first, and then there's actually been some news stories that have come out to kind of clarify what exactly these delays are for X-Men Dark Phoenix. They say is being delayed because it's an all-star cast. They got A-listers all over this movie. So
like Michael Fassbender and Jennifer Lawrence being the big two.
Jennifer Lawrence and James McAvoy. They've all got movies that are still in production right now and will be continuing production into this summer, and most of them will not be available, they say, till August or September. And with the original release being in November for that movie, they feel like it was cutting kind of close. So they just pushed it to February.
Yes.
And then with the New Mutants movie,
they're just basically starting from scratch.
Basically starting from scratch. They're doing over 50% this movie's being reshot.
Yes.
They say to make this movie scarier, they just did a test screening with some reshoots that had already happened. They said it was pretty scary. It was pretty good, but the studio wants it scarier. They say that it's being inspired to be more of a horror movie by the success of the It movie. So if that's any indication, I'm a little more excited, I guess, for this movie to be more of a straight up horror film.
I'm a little excited, but I'm also cautious.
Yeah,
because you can go too far into the scares and make everything look silly and stupid.
That's true. And I mean, this is one of the. This isn't uncommon for a movie to get extensive reshoots, but it is very uncommon to get this many reshoots.
Reshoot half the movie.
This is like, well, and I guess it's kind of the Solo movie, the Solo movie amount of reshoots. That movie is almost completely reshot, except for I don't know. There's a lot of reshoots that were involved in that movie, but they kept their release date.
Yeah.
But with this,
because Disney's a well-oiled machine at this point,
right? So, but this is just crazy. This is just a really almost 18 months being pushed back. This movie was originally supposed to come out next month. It was supposed to come out, and now it's
actually next 2 weeks.
Next 2 weeks, it's supposed to come out.
It was because Rampage is coming out where it's coming out now.
Yeah, and in a few minutes it'll actually be April. So
yeah,
this month and within the next 2 weeks it was supposed to come out, and now it's being pushed back till next August, which is just insane. And I don't know. I love the cast that's involved with this. The director, I've got a lot of hope for this director. I also have a little bit of a bias because he is local. He is from this area, Josh Boone. But it's just this is really his third feature film that he's doing. So, and it's really the first of a horror film and first one with Marvel and Fox. So, I don't know. It's a big movie.
It's very interesting. I'm intrigued to see what they do. But is this still going to be rated R?
No, I mean no. Well, initially Josh Boone said that it's going to be a very hard PG-13. Which we talked about not too long ago. But with the news of them wanting this to be more of a straight up horror film,
in the vein of It,
yeah.
There's only one way you can go to get that is with an R rating.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, he was really proud of how hard his PG-13 was going to be. But if this actually does end up being rated R, but they're not. That's just like I said. Their R rating is not part of any reports yet.
No.
But you can, if you read between the lines and make your own assumptions, it could possibly be brought up to an R. But I don't know. I mean, either way, I guess I'm excited for it.
I may have, after we do the other story, I may have one more piece of news to talk about.
Okay.
It's more comic book related, but it may have movie implications.
Dope. Okay.
So we can talk about it after we do the next story.
Cool. All right. Does it have to do with Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw something about it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, dope. So I'll go ahead and move on to our second story. And that is Gambit. Maybe begin its production very soon. Omega Underground is reporting that Fox has set a new production start date for Gambit, with cameras set to roll on June 19th in Remy LeBeau's hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana. It's expected the X-Men spinoff will film at Big Easy Studios, where fellow Fox superhero movie Logan shot. Omega Underground speculates that now that Fox has set a new start date for Gambit, the studio will soon announce a director for the project. Alright, so how does this news sound to you with Fox, with all the Fox news that we're getting lately? Not Fox News, but the movies of Fox Studios.
Yeah. The news coming out about 20th Century Fox movies.
Yes.
Not Fox News. But anyway, I just want them to hurry up and get this movie done so I can get the taste of Taylor Kitsch out of my mouth.
Oh, you're the only person I've ever heard that didn't like Taylor Kitsch as Gambit.
I'm not the first.
You're just the first I've heard, I guess.
Yeah, Taylor Kitsch was just...
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Okay, hold on, everyone. Let's let him out. He's got to go somewhere important, so let's everyone say goodbye to Zach.
Bye, Zach.
See you later.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Okay, so, but yeah, back to this anyway. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't a fan of Taylor Kitsch, and I mean, I wasn't a fan of that movie at all. But I think the biggest standout, I guess, would have had to have been Ryan Reynolds, and that was not saying much.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds was like going back to X-Men Origins Wolverine, everything about that movie was wrong. It was just wrong from the very beginning. I was like, every time I think back to X-Men Origins, I'm like, I understand that this may have been their attempt at making a cheesy 80s action flick. I get that. But everything was just so dumb and no.
Well, what the part that disappoints me is that we're losing Gore Verbinski as a director for this movie. I mean, this wasn't anything that was Verbinski-esque.
Yeah.
As far as tone or anything.
Well, his last few movies were kind of.
Well, I was one of the few people that actually appreciated not the Shape of Water. What's his movie?
A Cure for Wellness.
A Cure for Wellness. Just a lot of water in that movie.
Yeah.
I appreciated that movie for what it was, but I do understand the problems with it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking him leaving was a good thing because he might have added some elements to it that did not match with Gambit at all. So I'm just excited that this movie may actually get done. And maybe they need to take a Deadpool tone with it and not quite make it like a zany comedy like Deadpool is, but kind of like poke fun at the last version of Gambit they had. Because that version was like, the way he did this, the way they did the thing was all wrong.
Right.
Like the way they just had a little purple shimmer on the cards and then it blew it. It was just all wrong. Because the way he's supposed to go is like he's supposed to just be able to kinetically charge anything like that.
Yeah.
So like if he was to touch a car, that whole car would just be one giant weapon for him now.
Well, the fact that we've been waiting for this movie almost since, I mean, it's been at least 2 years that this movie has been in and out of production.
I think we've been waiting longer because didn't they announce this after X-Men Origins Wolverine? Like after that one got done?
Well, yeah, they announced a movie, but as far as this being a Channing Tatum movie,
yeah, and as far as them announcing they actually got him as Gambit, it has been 2 years.
It's been at least 2 years since we've announced since that's been announced. I'm just excited to finally see this actually start. I hope it actually finishes too. But I just know in the beginning they wanted this to be like $150 million movie, which just put a bad feeling all over about that. But I don't know. If I don't know what the budget's going to be now, but if it starts soon, I guess I'm happy. But Gambit is not one of my favorite heroes either. So
if Gambit, if done right, can be really cool.
Okay. And also,
you just gotta. One key trait that they have to give Gambit is his trademark eyes.
True.
Because that's one key element to Gambit that makes his character designs so cool as those eyes. And Taylor Kitsch didn't have them, so he was just a dude who threw playing cards. And that to me is not Gambit.
Right. And by the way, thank you, Night Hippie, for the kind words.
Yes, thank you very much.
Hello, Jonathan, and Zach said thank you too. All right, so cool. So he said thank you also.
Yes.
He says bye, or you said bye to Zach. Just addressing the comments.
Yes.
All right. So with that being the end of that story, you said you had a third story that you wanted to.
Yeah, and it's in the realm of comic books. We didn't make a graphic for it or anything because it's not anything movie related, but it is interesting. Marvel Comics has announced the return of the Fantastic Four to their lineup of comic books. And that's interesting considering a lot of the moves they make concerning their comic book choices now affect their studio now.
Yep.
Because the whole reason why they started the Fantastic Four book in the first place was due to the fact that Fox was making the Fantastic Four movies. So they pretty much made an excuse to where they sent Reed and Sue Storm off on these into the multiverse, effectively ending the Fantastic Four for like 3 years or something.
Wow.
So then this randomly the other day with Avengers Infinity War about a month out from release, they announced the return of the book in August. Almost as if something's going to happen between then that's going to put the Fantastic Four back in the forefront. What is that something? I don't know, but there is a clue and a rumor, I don't know how true it is, that somewhere in Infinity War, the Silver Surfer appears.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but the Silver Surfer is supposedly in the Infinity War movie.
Well, I know, what's his name? The one that played the voice of Silver Surfer.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne has been doing some projects with Marvel Studios recently.
Well, he's going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, he's going to be in Ant-Man, but he also said that there's another project that he said is top secret. That he wouldn't give any clues to. That could be it.
It could be more force work for the Silver Surfer.
I just don't know about the way that they would do the Silver Surfer now would require motion capture and all this other stuff. I don't know that.
But that's easy.
Fishburne, I mean, his voice was great.
Yeah, he didn't do the motion capture for.
They didn't. I don't even know how they did.
And Silver Surfer, it was a dude who did all the motion capture work. Lawrence Fishburne was just the voice.
Right. But so the way that motion capture works nowadays, it's almost like they are on the screen, and the voice would be a little bit more. I don't know.
It could be. It's just
if it works.
Just motion capture him dubbing, just doing motion capture dubbing. Have Lawrence Fishburne record the lines and just make sure that the dude you have motion capturing the acting part matches up. You can fix that with computers.
Yeah. You can do it. It's going to be different than how they do a lot of the motion capture nowadays. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know.
Or they could make it so the Silver Surfer's mouth don't open and make it more like a thing where it's more like not that he's actually speaking, but more of a projection kind of thing.
Because it's just so much more realistic now. That's why I say that. But I mean, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm not in that industry.
I just thought that was interesting to talk about in the realm of the show.
Definitely. All right, so there were no impactful, interesting trailers that were released this week, at least not so far. Mm-mm. So we're not going to be reviewing any trailers. Mm-mm. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into
It's going to be a nice lean show tonight.
Yes. Well, we're probably got a lot to talk about in this movie.
Oh, no, this one we got a lot to talk about, though.
So we're gonna go ahead and do our review for Ready Player One. This is our spoiler-free review of Ready Player One. So don't jump out of here just yet, guys.
Mm-hmm. Mind if I read this one?
Yeah, go ahead, do that, man. That's a lot of words.
In the year 2045, the real world is a harsh place. The only time Wade Watts, played by Ty Sheridan, truly feels alive when he escapes to the Oasis, an immersive virtual universe where most of humanity spends their days. In the Oasis, you can go anywhere, do anything, be anyone. The only limits are your own imagination. The Oasis was created by the brilliant and eccentric James Halliday, played by Mark Rylance, who left his immense fortune and total control of the Oasis to the winner of a 3-part contest he designed to find a worthy heir. When Wade conquers the first challenge of the reality-bending treasure hunt, he and his friends, aka the High Five, are hurled into a fantastical universe of discovery and danger to save the Oasis.
All right, you want to go ahead and start this one?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
let me hop in my seat like it was in the theater, because that movie was great.
All right.
I mean this. It was like it was truly like watching a movie. It should feel like you were watching a movie as a child again, because all the things that was happening, it was like you were getting giddy at all the things that was happening. Like someone said, like you went back up in your attic, found an old box of toys, and played with them again, and you actually enjoyed it because you hadn't done it in so long. Yeah. That's what Ready Player One felt like. It was like, I remember this. I remember that. Oh, man. Oh, someone remembered it just like me, you know? I remember playing with this. I remember watching that, you know? It was just a nostalgia overload, but it didn't feel like what's the word I'm looking for? It didn't feel like corporate mandated.
There you go.
It didn't feel like a corporate. It didn't feel like everything was in there just to be thrown in your face, like
the Emoji Movie.
Oh yeah, it didn't feel like
where you just felt like you were being sold all of these products.
Yeah, it didn't. It like okay, like when he went to the shop and when you went to the one scene, you saw like the Borderlands and Halo stuff.
Hi, Archie.
Hello, Archie.
Come on down, bud.
Hey,
come on.
Archie the movie, down, the official Champs Entertainment channel, pet.
There you go.
There you go. Just calm down, Archie.
There you go. All right. Go ahead and start. You finish your review.
Okay, but when every time he's fine. I got
all right.
It. Every time you saw something else that caught your eye, we went, oh, but it didn't distract you from the story. It didn't distract you from the movie. It was just, oh, cool, that's there. Like even when things you didn't know, the characters would go, oh, we were like you're struggling to try to figure out what that is. Character would go. The character would answer it for you. I'm like, oh, that's what that is. Okay, that's cool. That's there. And I just enjoyed the movie a lot. I can't wait to see it again. There's so many elements and things that we saw different Easter eggs when we watched the movie once. And I want to go watch it again and try to find the other Easter eggs I missed the second time.
Yeah.
And maybe even the third time, because there's so many.
Yes. All right, so for my part, not quite as excited as his. I enjoyed all of that. Everything you described, I enjoyed. I liked all of the nostalgic Easter eggs, all the cool references and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the writing and some of the character development goes, it was an absolute disaster. Literally, with Wade Watts what are the him and the girl characters' names? Do you remember their names?
Wade Watts. You talking about Parsifal and Artemis?
Parsifal and Artemis. Yeah. Okay. So, and the way that I'm giving this as a character development, why it didn't work for me. He literally meets Artemis, like within the first 10 minutes of the movie, they meet each other, and then before the 25-minute mark in this movie, he's telling her he's in love with her. I thought that was really stupid.
But you gotta take into account that the way they set it up.
They didn't set it up.
The way they alluded to it, that had between that and that time had passed.
Right. Okay. There was some time that had passed, but it didn't feel like that.
But you also got to take into account that, so you're looking at it from a mind of a mid-20s person.
Mm-hmm.
Wade Watts is 18.
Okay, yeah.
Again, we got to look at it from the mindset of a younger person.
Yeah.
So he's like, if you're 18 years old and then somebody is just constantly around you, and you are attracted to them, you're gonna interpret it as love, right?
Yeah. It was just very.
It was jarring for you, but
jarring.
it didn't feel jarring for me.
Ooh, like as soon as I heard it, I was like, dude, too soon.
Yeah, but I think that might have been the point because he had never felt it before. So
I don't know.
So he's ready to feel what he thinks is love for the first time.
I can because of everything else, I can excuse it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was jarring, and but there are so many other ways they could have done it. They could have just shown him somehow gaining feelings for her. That would have been more effective.
Well, you also got to take into account that also the way he described her, he already knew a lot about her before he even met her in person. So he probably was attracted to her before he even met her.
Yeah.
So by meeting her and seeing that she is what she is, it probably like cemented it that I want her, you know.
And then there was some. I'm going to try to do this without it spoiling anything. There was a scene that included some of Wade Watts' parents that was very underdeveloped. Or not parents.
It's aunt and her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend that was underdeveloped. Mm-hmm. And it felt unimpactful. So
yeah, I will give you that one because I will give you that even to the point where spoiler happened.
Right.
But the way they wrote the dialogue later in the movie,
yeah. When he said something about
it explained it away in a way where it was like, oh, that's why he's not really like so and so about it. It's like
it didn't actually impact him
as it didn't impact him either. Yeah. So it was like, if it didn't impact him, I guess that's why it didn't leave no impact on us.
It just took away what could have been an emotional scene, but I'm going to say I didn't read the books. I never read the book. I didn't read the book. But just hearing from people that have read the book, but this happens with every movie. The book is so much better. The book does this so much better. I don't judge movies off of that.
I've actually read people on the internet say the reverse.
You show me a couple. I will show you a couple. There's been several people.
I've actually.
There are some people that said that there are elements in this movie that played out way better than the book did.
Yeah, that's the one I mean.
The book is not perfect, according to other people.
That I just said the whole second challenge was better in the movie than it was in the book.
Yeah, but there are, as far as character development, they say that some of that plays out a little better in the book, which is why books it's easier for that to happen in a book. Mm-hmm. But anyways, besides that, this movie is amazing. The effects. At first, I was wondering. I was like, how the CGI was going to work. I didn't think that it looked very realistic in the trailer or anything, but it's not supposed to. Mm-mm. This is a video game. Yes. But the graphics are still like, I mean, this is like PS4, Xbox One's graphics, just above that.
I'm going to say this is like that Unreal 4 demo that just came out.
Okay. Yeah. So when you see like in the Call of Duty games or something, those the cutscenes, it looks like that style of animation, and that looks almost exactly how they animate those those cutscene movies.
And the way they designed the characters to have like that geometric effect to their skin, but still look like skin, I thought that was a cool touch too. Mm-hmm. And it gave you the illusion that these are still computer graphics; they're not people.
Right. But this is definitely a movie that I don't think anybody but Steven Spielberg should have directed.
Oh yeah.
Because of, like I said, so many references to his movies, Robert Zemeckis' movies. Oh my God! There is one movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but there is one movie that is in this movie, inside of this movie that you are taking inside of. That I was okay. It was the best. It was the best. It was probably my favorite part of this entire movie. We go inside of a very popular movie.
And when I saw that we were doing that, I was like, okay, so how does this work? When they first said that they were going to watch this particular movie, I'm like, how is this going to work? Are they just going to watch it like they did his memory?
Right.
But then when the floor lowered and it dropped in front of a movie theater called the so-and-so from the movie, I'm like, oh, we're actually going there.
We're going inside of a movie it was the best. It was awesome. It was one of the coolest cinematic moments.
Because now you're thinking like, they could do this over and over again.
Right.
they could make I would go see Ready Player 2.
Right. Oh, man. I mean, it's kind of, I believe, how they're going to be doing the Wreck-It Ralph sequel. There's going to be a lot of them going into some Disney movies.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's similar to how that's going to play out to how they did it in this movie. Mm-hmm. But this movie does it it does it in a way that I don't know how it was done. It was amazing.
It was very good. I can't wait to see what they do more with this world. I can't wait to see a sequel. I can't wait to buy this movie on Blu-ray. Yeah. He can't wait to buy it on 4K Blu-ray because he has a 4K Blu-ray player, and I hate him for that. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Archie again. Hello.
But yes, I guess what I could have used a little bit more of was some of what was going on in the real world. Just a little bit, though. Just a little bit. But I loved what we were doing, how most of this movie plays out inside of the Oasis.
I think that was kind of the point to show you that there is nothing in the real world.
Not left anyway.
There's nothing left to do in the real world. Yeah. The only thing left is the Oasis. Yeah. But it wasn't and until Wade showed up that it may get better. But
anyways, to go on to the acting in this movie. Mark Rylance, best performer in this entire movie.
Yes, Mark Rylance. I loved him. He was such a. You felt for him in every little scene. You felt for him.
You know what? Because of the way that the story worked out in this movie,
and
because of his performance, I would kind of like to see him in the Willy Wonka remake.
As Willy Wonka?
As Willy Wonka, because that's what he is. He's in this movie. He's basically Willy Wonka.
Yeah, he's basically like a video game Willy Wonka. That's pretty much what he is.
Yeah.
Hey, that's nice. You can't have none of that, though. All right,
Archie, you gotta get down, buddy. All right, but anyways, but everyone else, I thought it was a little funny with Olivia Cook's character because she does she says to him, Wade Watts. She tells him basically whenever they're inside the Oasis that she's kind of worried about meeting him in real life, and then we actually see her in real life, and it's Olivia Cook. So it's like, what are you worried about?
Well, you got to take.
I know she has a thing.
Yeah, but see again.
Yes,
she's a teenager.
Yeah,
who's worried about superficial things like that. So it again makes sense to me.
I guess, yeah.
It's like
find somebody.
And one thing you noticed, and one thing you may have noticed, but I won't say here, but as you watch the movie, near the end, something changes with her Oasis model.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I won't say what that is
right,
here, but we'll talk about it in the spoiler section.
Yeah. So, anyways, but besides that, the music amazing.
Oh yes.
Like I said, the special effects. There's so many. Like I said, these little Easter eggs and some of these characters. I think one of my favorite Easter egg characters in this movie is a famous serial killer character.
Oh yes, and the way they introduced them was brilliant.
Yeah, and the scene was also where they used their one PG-13 F word.
Oh, like I said again, making his introduction brilliant.
Yes.
You can, man. I was dying enjoying that scene. Then when they got there, I was like, it said use this, and he handed it, and he got it. I'm like.
Yeah, yeah, it was hilarious.
And it wouldn't make sense he would be a power up because he'd be too crazy to control. Yes. You wouldn't want to be him; you would want to use him.
Oh, and T.J. Miller, he was really good in this movie. I'm not usually a huge fan of T.J. Miller, but he was really good in this movie
because it was cool because the way they used him, you get this big brooding dude, but then he starts talking like that's T.J. Miller.
Yeah. And he's playing basically. It's almost like somebody that you would probably meet in some World of Warcraft chat room.
Yeah, like a high level player that's been there for so long.
Yeah, he's collected all the coins and has just collected everything.
He's collected everything there is to collect. So now he's just like he takes bounties now because it's so easy for him.
What you hear is you can see the personality of that player inside of him
because the way he talks.
He's got carpal tunnel in his neck by now. He's like, I can't turn my head.
He said, you know what? He said, hey, how's it going? I said, what's going on? I said, man, it hurts when I hold my head like this. So I'm like,
he just brings that T.J. Miller style of humor into the movie,
and it works very well for his character.
But Simon Pegg, he's excellent in this movie.
Oh yeah,
he's got an interesting arc in the movie.
Yes, he does.
Too.
Archie.
But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and score this movie because I believe we've gone a little bit longer than our usual spoiler-free review, and I'm going to give this one a 9.5 out of 10. It's very close to. It's going to definitely probably be in my top 10, maybe even in my top 5 at the end of the year. So, yeah, that's 9.5 out of 10. What are you going to give it yourself?
I'm going to give it the full 10.
The full 10.
Yes, because I thoroughly enjoyed I enjoyed this movie a whole lot. Archie wants to lick my lips. I can't let him do that.
Archie, come on down, buddy.
Please leave all of this in. Please leave all of this in. Dogs are good for views. But I'm giving it the full 10. I can't wait to see another one. I can't wait to see this one again. Yes, Ready Player 2. I want it.
I know that they're already announced that I believe it was Zach Penn, the one that wrote this movie along with the author of the book, wrote the screenplay. I believe he did announce that there is going to be a sequel book being written anyway. So I know Steven Spielberg recently just said that he doesn't want to do a movie like this again, like rework some of his past stuff. So maybe we might see Ready Player 2, but we probably won't see it with Steven Spielberg, which I'm okay with. Returning to this world and it being somebody else's stuff that we get to see this time.
Because Steven Spielberg was the perfect choice for this one because it was all about the past. Get someone who's all about the future now. Yeah.
So that's why I want somebody. That's why I said it doesn't need to be Steven Spielberg for the sequel. And I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, but
like I said, he definitely needed to be here for this movie, but he does not need
because he was like the logical choice because most of the stuff we referred to was he had a hand in.
I don't think you can repeat that nostalgia in a sequel. That's why it does need to be something different.
Yeah,
and this is going to be a whole new Oasis. Maybe something. I won't say that. Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Before we get hurt because we want to talk about it now and we can't.
Yes. All right, guys. I am Walker Cheatham. You can find me on all the social medias at Walker Cheatham. And you are
EJ Flemming. You can find me at all the social medias at GeekChamps
All right, guys, and we're going to head and put up our end card. We have 25 seconds left to go ahead and end this show. Guys, we're about to do our spoiler review. Make sure you check that out if you've already seen Ready Player One. We're about to start that in just a minute. So, all right, but guys, until next time, see you later.
Peace.